Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to learn how to make this cute little monkey cake topper. So for this video I'm using Saraceno pasta model or modelling paste. I've coloured some in brown and we're just going to roll a ball and point it slightly at the top. This is going to be our body. I've got some lighter coloured brown and I'm just going to again roll sort of like a tablet shape and pat it down, and this is going to give us the colour that I'm going to use for the belly. Using my fingers just to smooth out the edges, just so that it sits flush with the body that we've got. So put that to one side, once you've put the belly button in of course. Put that to one side and let it firm up a little bit. We're going to roll a very long sausage and we're going to cut off just 2 legs. So try to make sure they're the same thickness and the same length. And then we're going to chop at an angle just so that we can get a really nice join for the body that we've got. So I always cut at an angle just so that they fit on properly. Just going to take off a little bit more to make sure that they are the same length. And just push them together. Next we're going to make the feet. So 2 balls, we're going to flatten them, but flatten them only sort of like 3/4 of the way up, and then that lip that we've got, we're just going to mark in some toes. So just using a scriber needle just to push in the toe area, and I've shaped it at the bottom a little bit so it's a bit more of an oval shape. And then we're just going to stick some of the lighter brown in there, and then you're going to do the same thing again. So just using the scriber needle just to create the toes, shaping it so it's a bit more of an oval, and then adding in some of the lighter brown. We're just going to stick these on with a little bit of water. You can re-go over those if you feel that it's needed. And we're just going to attach the legs on with a little bit of water as well. And then just a little bit of water on the end to attach the feet, so it looks like that. And again on the other side. So now I've got a 1-inch polystyrene ball. So I've used this just because it makes the head a lot lighter. So we're going to roll a ball and flatten it, and then we're just going to put a little bit of water in there. And then our 1-inch polystyrene ball we're going to pop inside, and I'm just using the padded bit of my hand just to pull the fondant round, and then pushing it together with my fingers, and then we're just going to roll it in a ball, trying to get rid of any lines. So now we're going to create the face. So with the light brown, we're going to cut out a small love heart, and then with a foam pad and a ball tool, we're just going to go across, just making the tops of the hearts just a little bit bigger. And then we're going to pop that on, and this is going to create the eye area for the monkey. Just smoothing out the edges. We're going to pop that on. And then smooth out from the middle to the edges, and it'll just stop from any air bubbles getting caught in there. You shouldn't need water to stick that bit on. And then we're going to roll a sausage shape and flatten it down, taking care to flatten around the edge area at the bottom. And then we're going to place that on centrally, and this is going to create the mouth area. Again, you shouldn't need any water to attach that on. So once you've got that on, it should look like this. And then with the Dresden tool, I'm just going to create the mouth. So just pushing it in and then pulling it up at the bottom. It just makes it look like the mouth is slightly open. And then a little bit of the skin tone colour rolled into a tiny little sausage, and this is going to create the nose. And so with the Dresden tool, we're just going to push it down so it's attached, and then we're going to put in some nostrils. So just going in and up and in and up on the other side, and then just pulling it down to hide that line. So it's like that. And then with a small ball tool, we're just going to create our eyes. So just soothing, pushing them down with a ball tool. We're going to take some white fondant. This is the white Saraceno or Saraceno. And we're just going to try to make them roughly the same size. And then we're going to pop them in place. And using your Dresden tool, we're just going to flatten them down. Same with the other side. Just using your fingers to smooth over if needed. And then we're going to finish the eyes off with a little bit of brown. So I'm just using my Dresden tool just to push in a hole where I want the brown to sit. And then we're just going to pop these little bits of brown. Now I'm using the same brown that I've used to make the monkey with. And we're just going to pop that quite central in the eye, so quite in the middle towards the nose area. Same with the other one, pulling it out just to make it the same size as the other side. And just going over the lines there. And then with some dark brown, we're just going to wet our brush a little bit, and we're going to paint around the brown that we've put in the eye. And so you can see that I've just painted around, and I'm just putting a little bit more colour at the top. I'm going to do the same for the other eye. So it looks like that. And just using a little bit of water just to mix that in. And just re-going over the outline of the eye just to make sure it's quite a dark brown, so there's some definition there between what we've done and the outside of the eye. And then we've got some even smaller black dots. We're going to put them as the pupil bit of the eye. Same with the other side. So next, with some really tiny white dots, we're just going to put some reflectors in the eye. So you can see the face is starting to come alive now. You could paint these on if you've got some extra white powder. I just prefer to use the modelling paste. So this is what you should have so far. We're going to paint around the edge of the eyes with some brown. Now usually for most things I would roll out some black modelling paste and put that on for the eyelid area. But for this one I felt that it looked a little bit better just to be painted. So I've gone over with my paintbrush with a darker brown, and then I'm just wetting my brush and then taking off some of the excess of paint so that it's not a harsh line, but it's almost like quite concentrated where the white is, but then a little bit, it kind of fades a little bit as it gets close to the skin. And so I'm just going over with my brush, I'm dipping it in water, but then I'm actually taking the excess off on my hand, just so that when you're putting it on, it's not like just flooding it with water. So next we're going to do the eyebrows. So I'm just rolling out a thin piece of fondant, and I'm just chopping off the two corners that I've got. And then we're just going to apply these on just with a little bit of water. And then with your Dresden tool, we're actually going to use the Dresden tool just to shape that eyebrow. So just using the Dresden tool to push it up and your fingers to push it down. And so this is what you should have so far. And we're just going to dust the cheeks with some pink dust. So I'm just doing the tops and the sides of the cheeks. Just with a tiny bit of dust here. So you can see there's not a lot in the lid that I'm using there. And then we're just going to put some around the bottom of the mouth and underneath the nose. We're going to attach it with a cocktail stick. So I've put a cocktail stick in the body. I'm just going to trim off the top and then just wet the cocktail stick with a little bit of water. And then we're going to push that down. So if you use the palm of your hand, then you're not going to distort the shape of the head. So just like that. And now we're going to do the ears. So a similar process as when we did the hands. So we're going to roll some balls of dark brown fondant and using your finger just to push them down. And then with some light brown fondant, we're going to do the same again, but just on a smaller scale. Pop them in the middle. Using a ball tool just to push that down a bit more. And then we're going to pinch. And that's going to be the same for the other side. And then we're going to create a hole in the head with a brush. And this is just where the ears are going to sit. So we're going to wet them with a little bit of water. You don't want too much because if you put too much water in, it gets really slippy. And then we're just going to twist the ear so it's pointy. And we're going to sit that in place like so. And then the same with the other side, like that. So now we're going to make a tuft of hair. So we're just going to roll some thin bits of fondant that are pointy at one side. So I did 3 and then I kind of pressed gently in the middle to fold them in half and just pinched it at the bottom and just stuck that on with a little bit of water. Just like that. And there's his little tuft of hair. So for the arms, similar to the legs, so we want to make them the same kind of size, but we are going to insert one with a piece of floral wire, and this is just going to be able to hold the hand up. So we're going to thread that into the body and then take it out to push it into the arm, and then you're just going to pop it back in that hole that we made earlier on. So that's the arm supported. I'm just going to wet the join there to make sure it's stuck down. And then for the hand, we're going to do a similar process as what we did already for the foot. So flatten it and then using the scriber needle to create the paw. And then a little bit of the paler brown in the middle. And we're just going to stick that on with a little bit of water. So you shouldn't need to prop this up against anything because obviously it's got the support of the floral wire inside and the hand is not too heavy. And we're going to do the same for the other side, only with this one I've not bothered putting any of the pale brown fondant underneath because obviously it's not visible. I left this to dry overnight before applying it to a cake. So once you've finished, you should have something that looks like this. I'd love to see your versions if you have a go at this tutorial. Here's a picture of the finished monkey, and here is the cake that it went on. So I do have tutorials for all the other animals over on my channel. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.